Hello, I can see Anne and Bruce out there.
Hello.
And I can see, this is like romper room. I can see Peggy and Cynthia and Kate.
Can you hear me, Anne?
Yes, I can. Excellent. Bruce and Peggy and Cynthia and Kate are here.
Hi there.
Welcome back.
Yes, we are.
Your cameras are on for the moment and we'll turn them off later along with your microphones, but I like to see your happy faces to start. And we are about 5 minutes. Yep.
Yep, camera on.
I panicked. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I panicked because, you know, it's at 5:30 to 7 like last week. And then when it had the thing up, it said 5 o'clock start. And it's like, oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
no.
been here since 5 also.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
It was like, yeah, so we're ready.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Where did it say 5 o'clock?
I sent you an email with a photo of the screenshot. You'll see it there.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
No, we're ready. You see?
My bad. Yeah.
Ready to play.
Chopping at the bit.
We can dismiss with all the advertising. Go straight into the meat.
Yes. Well, we got some newcomers here today, however, so we got to keep them apprised. We have Sarah coming in. Anne, are you still there?
Yes, he wants me to access the camera, so okay. There we
There
are.
you go. There you go. I tried to turn it on my end and it didn't work. So welcome everybody. We have Sarah was the last one to join us. We have a total of 11 today. And so far 7 have dropped in. How's everybody's hair doing?
Right. 5 o'clock.
Ah, rats. Doing too many of these things. Well, there'll be no charge for that extra half hour. Bruce has got his microphone off, but Bruce, you're out there somewhere?
I was just trying to talk to my wife to get my coffee in here. I'll get it.
That's fair enough. How's everybody's hair doing? I need a haircut.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, right.
Perfect hair.
Yeah.
So it's a little long, it's getting a little gray, but haven't had a cut since January.
Exactly. We're not allowed to up here.
I'm in Florida too.
Well, you've got 2 Florida representatives here.
I come up here once a year, whether it needs it or not.
Yeah, I can see with your style. I kind of, that's what I'm shooting for. Anne, are you originally New England? Are you just visiting there, or what's the deal?
Yep. No, I live in near you, Francistown.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry. Yep.
Yep. So I grew up in there down here. My mother-in-law is here, so we're looking out for her for a little while.
Oh, very good. Boy, I sure wish we had.
Shows are all canceled.
Yeah, I am really needing warm weather at this point. Can deal with just about anything else except the cold. Crazy.
It's not snowing though, right?
Well, for the moment, but I saw a snowflake on the weather app later in the week. I don't even want to discuss it.
So I'm flying back theoretically on May 17th.
Okay.
I rebooked from April 15th to May 17th. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah. How about you, Anne? Do you know when you're coming back, or?
Well, May 3rd, we changed our date to May 3rd, but it depends how things go with my mother-in-law. She's trying to move to assisted living, but she's, has to have some
And I love
worked out first.
I love the clock behind you on the wall.
The clock, the 50s?
Yeah, mid-century modern, I love it.
Yes, my mother had one of those.
Yeah.
I've just let, somebody just came in, Joyce, or Joyce's iPad came in.
Hi.
Hello, so I can hear you, not yet see you, which is okay. Somebody left us. Heard the sound of someone moving. I won't take that personally. So apparently there was some confusion about start time, 5 or 5:30. It's supposed to be 5:30 in my mind. But, the one thing got screwed, the marketing got mixed up, and that was also my bad. Hello, Joyce, now I can see you.
Hi.
Hello. Can you, if you all would, find the chat box for me and tell me if you can raise your hand.
Where is the chat box?
Scroll over either the top or the bottom of your screen where there's a toolbar, and it should be there with the word chat, or it might be behind 3 dots saying more.
Should we click it? Everyone see it?
Yep, click on the chat box. And I'm sorry,
I raised hand is in the participants box.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It's actually, I misspoke. It's in the participants bar. So Kate has risen her hand, and Peggy, raise your hand when you find that participant box and find your name there. That was where I went wrong before. So I'm going to turn off all your cameras and all your mics as we proceed here, and then you will raise your hand, or as I will explain, we'll round up all the questions and answer them at the end. I've just admitted Cynthia. Who's the latecomer? Who just came in?
I'm Cynthia.
Oh, you're
I've been
Karen.
here.
You've been here. Karen, it was Karen who's come in. She's still getting set up, no doubt. Karen, can you hear us and see us? Somebody has chatted in the chat box. Hello, hello, Cynthia and Joyce say in the chat box. Thank you for doing that. Raise your hand if you found the raise your hand section. Should be under participants. And while you're finding the chat box, the rest of you drop in just reminders what your business is and where it's located. That will help me. Sarah has raised her hand. Yay, that's just a test. And can you find?
Well, I'm
Yep.
on something that says chat, but it says, so I'm seeing what Cynthia wrote. Hello. And Joy, but I'm not
To
sure.
raise your hand, you have to close the chat, I think.
Oh, close the chat box, really?
Right,
Yeah.
it's in the participants box, but the chat box covers it up, at least on my screen.
Yeah,
Where you can drag it over.
Yeah, you should be able to drag it anywhere you like.
Click on the top of it with your mouse and drag it somewhere else.
Yep.
It says just, I don't see a chat box. I mean, I see a whole column that comes down. Is that what you're calling?
Yeah,
a
where it
chat
says hello from Cynthia and hello from Joyce.
Yes.
That's the chat box. There's another one where it's just the names called participants.
box? Okay.
See if you can find that. And in there,
That's where you raise your hand, right?
you raise your hand. Yep.
So what's the significance of raising our hand?
So when I turn your microphone and cameras off, if you really have something urgent, you want to go raise your hand and I will see it.
Oh, all right.
So
And
is
then
it,
open you up.
excuse me, there's a little X or arrow next to chat and it says close or pop. Am I clicking one of those?
Nope. You shouldn't have to. If it's in your way, you could just drag it over to the side.
It's
but
not
there-
really in my way. I'm okay with it. So it's
Okay, you're looking for the word, however, participants, and it should say participants, parentheses 9.
Gotcha. Okay, got it.
And then you should have a
Yep.
list of all of us.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
See it.
Next to the microphone should be the raise your hand thing. All right, Peggy has told us she makes baskets in Durham. The rest of you in chat, drop in and say, tell me what you do and where.
All right.
And Karen, are you out there somewhere hearing us?
Yes, I am, but I don't know if you can see me. For some reason, my camera might not be on.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, start
there we
video.
go.
There you go.
Hi.
Now I can see you. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. So we're asking folks to find the chat box and type in what your business is and where you're located. And to find the participant box and see if you can figure out how to raise your hand. And I am going to close the microphones and close the cameras on all of you as I speak, and then we'll open that up as needed. And if there's something urgent, raise your hand. But otherwise, we will save the questions for 1 hour into this. We'll group all of those. together, and I'll try to answer them one by one. Cynthia's in
Do you know,
Dover. Yep. Go ahead, Bruce.
excuse me, do you know who's, when you're chatting, do you know who's sending the message to you, or do I have to put my name in?
Oh, I know, I can see it comes, your name is pre-formatted.
Is it when okay, good. That's what
Yep.
I want to know. Because it just says from me to Christine.
Yep.
So, on my end.
Very good. All right, so we're missing 2, but I think we'll proceed and I will hear them come in. So right at this moment, gang, I'm going to share my screen and get to the presentation. And you will tell me if you're not seeing what you should be seeing. Your screen. Oh. Your screen will change in just a moment.
Owen is now friends with Karen. Definitely not friends with Paula. Cannot.
Okay, did the screen change for you all?
Yes.
Got a bunch of blues and a bunch of yellows. Okay. All right. I'm now turning off your microphones. We have 11 people here, so it will be distracting if I keep those open. And again, if you have questions, maybe you could all go unraise your hands now in the participant box. And then really, if you do have a serious question as we go on that needs to be answered right now, pop up your hand and I will try to see that. Otherwise, we'll keep the questions for the end. I've learned that that's just the easiest way to do it. Okay. So unmuting and, no, I mean, muting and closing your cameras. Or not closing them, but diminishing them. So probably you are just seeing me, my face in the upper right corner or someplace on your screen, I hope. So Karen is here making jewelry in North Conway, and Dover is represented, and Wood Turner Cynthia is here. Katie still sees everyone. That's a setting that you can do if you want to get rid of everybody. The photo screen will diminish. It's a grid type icon on the upper right that you can play with and have as many people showing as you want. All right, folks, so it's time to get going, and we are going to do the bulk of this in 1 hour. And after that hour, I will stop and take questions and go live and demonstrate some things. Mixed media from Bruce, thank you. Okay, Kate, did you have a question? I don't think so. Okay, type it in the chat box if I miss your hand going up. Sarah's here, okay. All right. Now, so we're here to talk about advanced Facebook strategies. How many of you were, I think most of you were in my beginner class in one way or another. A couple of you weren't, but saw it in the replay. And so at a certain point, I'm going to open the mics and ask you, how's it going with the brand new page? So as we proceed there, it's just explaining again what we'll do. We'll save the questions for the end unless there's something really, really urgent. And I probably can't answer those questions that are something like, my screen isn't doing what your screen is, or I can't find that button. I can't answer those kinds of individual questions as we go along. So instead, what I advise is you to send me an email at the email address you see at the bottom there. If you got those reminder notes from me today with the link, it also contains my email address. That it's a different address than this, but it gets to me if you respond to me that way. So I will answer those questions that come up. Today, it's a whole lot more of Facebook. And if you weren't here before, I just need to tell you that it all started for me. My background in social media comes from Stonyfield Farm, where I was hired in 2004 to be its first blogger. And I wasn't just the first blogger at Stonyfield, I was one of the first in the country when blogging was new. And blogging was our first social media channel we ever had. All the ones we know about today came after blogging. LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube all came after blogging, but I did that for Stonyfield for 2 years. And then, and I spoke all over the country under the auspices of Stonyfield. And then I turned it into my own agency in which I provide social media consultations for folks and create the content for them, and have done thousands, literally possibly thousands of live workshops, and been using Zoom for webinars for about 6 or 7 years. So tell me in the chat box if you have started a Facebook business page or have already had one, but just to confirm that you at least got one going. Type that in the chat box if you can find it. This is just a reminder that despite what you might hear, despite what you are absolutely committed to knowing, despite what your nephew told you, Facebook has not died. It just keeps growing. It is the largest social media site. The data in front of you right here is a little old, from 2017. And what we know has happened since then is YouTube has grown to be almost equal with Facebook, and the rest of these are almost the same today as they were represented here. So it's YouTube, because everybody wants video, and we are going to be talking about video a little bit here. But Facebook is where all the eyeballs are all the time. And I mean that literally in both senses. And that's why any business must master Facebook as a marketing strategy first, and then worry about all the rest. So that's why this series, sponsored by the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen, started with Facebook. I'm so grateful for them, for bringing me in to help you folks learn how to do this in advance of the giant event that comes in August, right? Has there been any word about what will happen with the giant event in August? Type that in the chat box if you have an answer. But anyway, we are here because Facebook is huge and it's only growing. This coming Friday at noon, the webinar is on Facebook advertising, which you all should be embracing as well. They're still deciding. Thank you, Peggy. So it's Facebook advertising coming this Friday. Next Monday at the 11:30 time is my partner Nanette presenting on Instagram, and she's doing that 2 days in a row. One day at 11:30, and then the Tuesday it'll be at 5:30 like this time. Instagram twice, so pick which one of those you can attend, and I think you all should attend Instagram. Nanette is great. She's a real expert. She knows how to use it, and you all have products that really need to be represented on Instagram. Instagram is all about the visuals. You all have great visuals, I'm assuming, in your products. So that's what's coming up, and then next Wednesday we circle back to advertising again. So it goes advertising, Instagram advertising, and then upcoming 7 days, and then the series continues, and we wrap up at the end, May 22nd, with video marketing, and then Instagram. Nanette comes and joins me for that one. You get both of us, and it's a longer webinar at that time. Okay, enough with that advertising. So again, social media use. Here's the more up-to-date chart. There's YouTube and Facebook. Facebook is huge, and all the rest are 2/3, literally, at best, the size audience as Facebook has. So that's why you need to be here. We're going to do a tiny bit of review for the beginners, and then after that, tonight we'll talk about what makes for more about good content, more about the importance of visuals and the importance of video, and how to use your insights, okay? Concluding with some best practices, here's my overarching message to all of you. Don't panic. Never panic. Never think because this one thing happened, it's all over and you're giving up. Slow and steady wins the race in Facebook. And if you do something wrong, nobody's going to care. If you have a typo in your post, nobody's going to care. Don't have typos. But if you have one, don't worry. It's all good. So a little review here for beginners. Type in the chat box whether you know how to toggle between your personal Facebook page and your business page, or whether you don't, okay? Let me know if you do or don't know how to schedule a post. And for that one, maybe you could write schedule, ? No, or schedule, yes. Do, that's good. Okay. If not, we will review that towards the end as to the extent that there's time. It looks like a lot of you do. Do you have a second administrator on your page? I'm going to pause here and let you all answer that one. A second person who can do what you can do to the business page. No second, no, nope. Ann says no. We will review how to do that towards the end. Cynthia has a second administrator, good for you. So toggle, no, but configured out scheduling, yes, administrator, no. So here's the administrator idea, and as we have time at the end, I will show you how to do that. You should always have someone backing you up on your page. And here's why. It's possible that all of your technology could fail, or you could be on a trip to Europe and nothing works the way you think it should work. And you need to just communicate with your Facebook audience that, I'm sorry, nothing's happening. I'll be back in a week, or whatever it is. So having somebody to back you up if such a thing would happen would be good. And it's just always good to have a backup for, your device has failed, you've forgotten the password or whatever, that other person can post for you until you get it figured out. All right, so here's some more beginner level questions. Have you programmed your call to action button? Type yes or no in the box. No call to action button. No. Can you change the alternate administrator? Oh yeah, you can have 15 administrators or change them at will. Cynthia says, what is a call to action? I'm assuming. Well, that was a trick question. This is mostly the response I expected. What is a call to action button? And we'll talk. We're going to talk about that and how important it is. So anybody remember what this giant wide photo is called at the top of your page? Kate says banner. Nope. The official name is, anybody? Cover. Peggy wins the prize. I have no prizes, but Peggy won the prize on that one. It's called a cover photo. And does anybody remember what I said you should do with it if you were in the beginner class? Change it, Cynthia says. That's correct. Change it periodically. At the very least, not to keep the same one up there for years and years, which I have seen. Also, at the very least, change it seasonally if you're inclined to have it a seasonal photograph up there. So if your giant wide cover photo at the top right now is showing me deep snowbanks, I'm going to get a little ticked off. So you want to make sure it jives with the season. Yep. And furthermore, that it tells the story of your business, giving me a snapshot of what you do in some way. Anybody remember what I said about when you should post and how often you should post? This is a real test. Peggy says daily. Ugh, I take that to mean she feels it is too burdensome to do daily. Yep, every day in the afternoon. That's the answer I was looking for. Once a day, every day, no more, no less in the afternoon, unless we learn otherwise. And 365 days a year. That's absolutely true. So those of you who are new, I give you permission to work up to that rate if it feels daunting. But I promise you that when you get into the rhythm of doing this, it will be easier and easier. And we're going to talk about scheduling to make that more efficient for you to do. But it's not me just saying, not just me saying, once a day, every day. It's the rate that Facebook knows that the data shows works. And by works, I mean people have noticed you at that rate. You haven't gone away and forgotten them, and they're wondering where you are, where your business is. And it's not so much as to be annoying. So it's the rate that most of the big guys, the giant companies on Facebook, use that rate as well, once a day, every day, with rare exceptions. Okay. So that was my little beginner's review. Okay, now we're on to the advanced stuff. Yay! Okay, so this is a reminder. Your main job, you got one job on Facebook, and that is to continuously add new viewers, new fans, new readers, or in the Facebook world, new likers to the page. That is your primary goal, because the more eyeballs you have looking at your page, looking at your posts, the greater the likelihood is that they will ultimately come someday and buy your stuff or walk into your shop or attend your event, whatever it is you want them to do. So that's the whole goal of using Facebook, is to increase the probability that somebody becomes your customer. So in the beginner class, we went through how to ask your personal Facebook friends to like the business page. And I just want to give you this as a reminder. Asking your personal friends to like the page is perfect strategy when your Facebook page is brand new. You just created it. It's the only way you're going to have an audience. But as you go down the line, you should think about asking your friends every now and then. So if you're a person who's adding new friends over on Facebook, your personal Facebook, every now and then go check out this area. If this were your business page you were looking at, on the right-hand side, the furthest column in this area called Community, Facebook right here is it's reminding you really, hey, invite some friends. So you can see in this circled area that I have 535 people, my friends, who have liked my page. That I have that many people already liking my page. Not all of them are personal friends. The top line here is telling me that one of my personal friends plus 128 others have already liked the page. And if I were to click on this blue button here, it would bring up a list that includes every one of my personal friends, okay? And this is just a reminder, it's pretty similar to what we talked about at the beginner class, but Margaret here, next to her name, it says she has liked it. So I already asked her and she already came and liked it. Jim and Deb, I have the opportunity to invite that person. And Christine has been invited and has chosen not to because her button doesn't say liked, it says invited. So you don't, you only get to ask people once, you don't get to bug them. And if they choose to ignore you, which is certainly their prerogative, their button will say invited. And then if you're adding new friends that you haven't invited, go through the list and pick out the ones whose buttons say invite. So if you invited and they don't respond, what to do? You can't do anything, Kate, really, not within Facebook. If you see them on the street, you can harass them. You could send them an email outside of Facebook, but you don't get to ask them again. Sometimes under some situations, Facebook recommends that I ask a particular friend to like my page, but they already do. I haven't seen that, asking a particular friend to like your page. If they already do, you might think they already do, but they actually don't. So a personal friend, hang with me here now, a personal friend can actually come and like a post that you've done, given like to the post, not the page overall. And if they've given a like to the post and not the page overall, Facebook will pop up with a message that says, Chris liked your post. Make it easier for her to see other posts by inviting her to like the page. That might be what you're referring to, Cynthia. And that is a good trick, as it were. When Facebook reminds you to ask your friends to like the page, you should follow through and do that if you're comfortable doing so. We talked about not everybody wants their business pages married with their personal friends, but to the extent you're comfortable of doing that, you should. Yep, Karen, there is a method to invite all the friends all at once. The way it's structured on this slide is how it, I've cut off on the left-hand side, there would have been a box where I could check all. I mean, that's literally what it says. Select all and send the invitation out en masse. So you can do that at the beginning of your page, and then later, let's say you've added more friends, you can do that and it will still only invite the ones who have not yet been invited. So that was a good question. All right, so getting your friends over to the page is good strategy if you're comfortable doing that, because the more people you have, the more likelihood that day will come when the people who've come to your page are not your friends and family. You don't even know their names, and that's what you want. You want customers beyond your family and friends. The more you have, the likelihood that their friends will see what you're doing, or something that they've done will be noticed by somebody unrelated to your business so far. That's the most important thing you can do. Invite your friends. And then secondly, and we talked about this, now your job, getting people to like your page, involves posting good content regularly. And so you can raise two questions here. What is good content and what is regularly? We already established what is regularly. Once a day, every day, no more, no less. What is good content? I don't know. No, it's different for everybody. It should be something that's really, really interesting every day. Good content should do one of these 4 things: entertain, engage the reader, enrich their lives, or enlighten them. So entertaining is where we learn that you can post that picture of the funny cat video. I mean, that video of the funny cat playing a piano or whatever to entertain your readers. And there's a good business case to be made for that. If you're posting funny things and showing me that you have a sense of humor and that you're human, I'm more likely to come do business with you. That's the idea behind that. Engaging means see if you can put up something that prompts people to reply or to comment or to ask a question or to answer the question that you have asked. Enriching their lives and enlightening them, sort of the same, but you want to think of that about under the order of showing them something, demonstrate how you make your art, enlighten them by saying, did you know that crystals actually come from, or whatever it is, obscure facts. That's what we mean by that. This is above all what your content should not do. It should not be boring. Sorry, it should not be this guy in the upper right. You should also not always be all about you. I'm doing an event. I made this thing. I come and buy my stuff. Those kinds of messages repeated too often will wear people down and wear them out, and probably drive them away or drive them to unlike your page. Don't always be just selling. Do those other things I talked about. Entertain, engage, enlighten, and enrich them. And about every 10th post, they say, every 10th post, you can do something selling, a strict selling message. I just made this pot, come buy it, it's $75 in the shop, or whatever it is. Or come to the Sunapee League and come to my table and I will sell you wonderful, marvelous things. That's a strict selling message. 1 out of 10 is what the recommended rate for that is. So we don't want to come to Facebook and always be sold to. So again, what type of visuals to include? Stop me if I heard, if you heard this. Did I talk about this already? Every post you make should have a visual. You who are artists out there should have no excuse not to have a great visual with it, whatever you're putting in your posts. Here's what we know about human behavior. We love to see pictures of cute babies and cute pets. And so if you can do the two together, that's great. Here's a cat and a baby, perfect. But you want to think about anytime you make a post and somebody does respond to it, particularly if they've commented or shared your post to their people, that's golden for you. That helps your audience be built. When people are on your page and they've asked a question or liked something or commented, you want to pay attention to that and see if you can get back in there and respond as your business as well. So you want to strive for recognizing when people take the time to comment or to share or to give you a thumbs up. And particularly if they've asked a question, you better be in there to answer pretty quickly. Two-way conversations are best, and that's what will help you grow on Facebook, okay? Let me know if there are any questions about that, and type that in the chat box. So here's an overarching rule these days about visuals. Don't just tell me what you're doing, show me. And if you can show it in a moving picture, a video, all the better. Videos are king on Facebook now. So part of our series ends with May 22nd. Us two, my partner Nanette, will be talking about the basics of video marketing, how to get started video marketing, how to think about doing videos, and the little bit of equipment that you need, which is not much. But think about attending that video marketing workshop as our final hurrah in this series. But we are teaching video because it is so important. Video is so important because the audience has come to expect videos. We have raised a generation on YouTube now, and I mean that literally. The bandwidth can handle it. The digital world can handle it. You're all walking around with a great video camera in your pocket. It looks something like this. It's perfect for doing videos. And furthermore, Facebook rewards you if you do videos. Facebook's algorithm is tricked out such that it rewards videos. It delivers them higher up in the news feed, increasing the likelihood that your post will be seen. Now, Peggy has asked the question, what length of video? And the answer to that is, it depends. And we talk about that in the video marketing webinar. But the quick answer is short, short, short. Shorter is better until you've developed some street cred with your audience, and then you are allowed to do longer videos. But shorter is better, and I want you all to begin thinking in that direction. What would be a commercial for you. And as you're watching television or watching Netflix or whatever you're watching, if you're looking at a commercial, count the seconds. These days they're 10 seconds long and they're all about buying trucks. Think about how you would cram in an explanation in 10 seconds of what you do. So short, short, short is better. Here's what we know of among marketers who have surveyed this thing. They survey, what kind of things do you want to see from businesses? They asked customers. And the first answer is video. The second answer is email. So people like to get emails from the brands, the businesses that they follow. So if you don't have an email strategy, I don't teach that, but if you don't have an email marketing strategy, you should have one. And then what they like is social images. So think about adding video and then think about coming to that webinar at the end. So a little bit more on the importance of good visuals, but we won't get too far in depth on this because we've got another webinar coming up on that topic. Learn to make beautiful graphics on social media, even if you're a graphics idiot, which I am. I have never learned graphic design. I'm a writer by trade. I've not learned graphic design, but Facebook is all about visuals. You all have the best visuals at hand, photos of the art. But it is good to change things up so that you're not always posting the same kind of visuals. And so making some interesting graphics, something on the order of this thing in the middle of your screen at this moment would be a good thing to learn. And I do the very basics in a webinar the same length. Visuals are good for Facebook's algorithm. In other words, Facebook wants you to do visuals and will punish you if you don't. But visuals are good for you because they help your reader, your viewer, remember what it is you just said. Our brain is wired that way to remember the text that is associated with the video, a visual. If there's a visual associated with it, we're more likely to remember it, especially more likely to remember it than if we're just hearing it. But if we get a visual along with it, we will remember it for 72 hours. What is that, 3 days? 4 days? Ha. So let me just review the kinds of photos you should think about posting. And some of you have already been doing this for many years and you've figured it out. Posting photos of your art is best, or photos of whatever it is you're selling is best. But I want to admonish you all to think about including human faces with the art as often as you can, because we resonate with faces, not with objects. And so that too contributes to the whether your message will be remembered and whether you will be connecting with people enough for them to feel comfortable coming in your door or buying your stuff. But having said all that, types of photos to think about, the best thing you could possibly do is take your own and add your own text to them, as in turn a photograph into a graphic with an interesting display. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. If you don't have a good backlog of photographs and can get by with some generic ones, there are stock photo sites that we discuss at great length in the graphics webinar, but you can find stock photos on various sites that are just perfect for your usage. And I'll mention a couple of those in a minute, but here's what I'm getting at. This is a photograph. It's actually a selfie taken by the woman in the picture, and that she happens to be my daughter. She's a personal trainer and health coach. So it's a picture of her looking awesome, and she took the photograph and I added the words over that photograph. Okay, so it's produce and protein is her diet thing, and then she explains in a few words what she means by that. This kind of text overlaid on a photograph is very well received by the Facebook audience. It quite often will get a like or a comment or a share. You're all pretty quiet out there. Just somebody type in the chat box that you can still hear me and the video's working and the sound is good. Kate is asking what program to add the text, not Publisher, not Publisher. I'll mention a couple of them in a minute, what programs I use. It's all good, sound-wise, thank you. So, so this kind of thing, this is called a motivational quote, and it does very well on Facebook. You know, something quotable from somebody else overlaid on a photograph. So this is from Pablo Picasso, a quote of his, and I run an author site. I'm a writer, so I have a separate Facebook page for that. We'll get to that in a minute, Bruce. So I found the quote from Picasso, I found the photograph from stock photo site, and merged the two in a site called Canva. That's the way I was able to do it. So that stock photos are a way to use other people's photographs without stealing their copyright. Everything on the web is copyrighted by somebody, but if you find photographs at a stock site, they are copyright free and free. Now, Bruce out there is writing to me saying, a former graphic artist, I abhor stock photos. Personal photos are so much better. That's absolutely true. Your own personal photos are so much better, and we will resonate with them much better, but sometimes it just can't be helped. You know, you need a photograph of a mountain stream right now. One of these stock photo sites can do it for you. Here's a thing that I get a challenge with stock photos in the little old state of New Hampshire. These stock photo sites are made by creative types all over the world, and a lot of the people in them do not look like New Hampshire people. They look like really groovy Europeans in the tight jeans, and none of them have beards or whatever. So that's another challenge with the stock photo sites. But to go back to whoever asked me, how did I do that? It's the kind of thing you'll learn in this graphics webinar, but there's a site called Pixabay is my favorite stock photo site, Pixabay, that you see mentioned here. And there are dozens and dozens of others, but start with Pixabay. And my favorite other tool that I use besides, well, my favorite graphic design tool, because it's where I started, is PowerPoint. What you're seeing now is a PowerPoint presentation, essentially. If you are familiar with PowerPoints, have ever touched it, a PowerPoint slide, one page of a PowerPoint presentation, can be turned into a JPEG, a graphic. So if you have mastered designing a PowerPoint slide, you essentially have mastered some basic graphic arts skills. So the one in front of you, the cow, is a stock photograph that I found at a stock photo site. I brought it up into a PowerPoint slide and I overlaid the text on it in PowerPoint and then saved it as a JPEG. And in there, I could size it correctly for that cover photo size. Okay. Photoshop elements similar to PowerPoint. I don't know Photoshop elements and I have flunked Photoshop many times. That's why the graphics webinar will teach you all the ways to not use Photoshop. Yes, well, Bruce is saying it's tough to find exactly the right photo if you're a perfectionist, and you should not be. But you can put text on photos in Photoshop. Yeah, exactly. So I have not mastered Photoshop at all. In fact, I flunked it 3 different times. So here's another thing to think about doing. If you just can't think how to illustrate something, do a little something fun with the text instead. So here I had this concept of connect, commit, close. So those are the 3 steps to a Facebook ad. Get them to connect, get them to commit, get them to close the deal. That's what that means. I didn't know how to illustrate that, so I came up with the C's. I did this in a program called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, which is the most wonderful thing in the world. In the graphics webinar, I will demonstrate how it works, but just know you could probably go there and figure it out. Now, Canva, canva.com is the way I did the one in front of you here. It's the way I did the Pablo Picasso one and the one that was just before this. So think about using that as a graphics design tool and playing around. So let's circle back to videos. So you heard me say that the world expects video now. They love video. We have the bandwidth to handle video, and therefore you should think about doing videos of your business and your art. And here are the types of videos you can do. Bruce, will you remind me, did you send me a video of you doing something with art, or was that somebody else? Yeah. Somebody who took the beginner class showed me themselves turning wood. So there was wood turning and a vase turning, which was totally spectacular. It wasn't you, Bruce. Okay, sorry. It might have been another Bruce in my classes, but another artist in either case. So a video demonstrating how your craft or art is created, or how the product that you're producing is created, would be awesome. And what we know is that on social media sites, the most popular type of content you can give is a tutorial, a video tutorial, or a video demonstration of something, of your product, or how to, at Stonyfield, frankly, the first video we ever did was how does the milk become yogurt? And we did it from cow to factory. So people love that kind of thing. It's very, very popular. And if you can do that, do that. This picture in front of you is, I kid you not, a guy demonstrating how to peel a potato on YouTube, in case you were totally confused about that. But in videos, educational or demonstrations are the best. Entertainment, again, piano playing cats are wonderful. People love that. Product tutorials, I just mentioned that. Here's another one doing a Instapot tutorial on YouTube. Now, it's my understanding Instapot is pretty darn easy. It's like open it and plug it in, right? But there's a whole video tutorial on how to do it. You can think about using videos to interview people associated with your business. Maybe it's a fellow artist, maybe it's a supplier or a vendor or a staff person, or a fellow member of the Chamber of Commerce where you are, or interviewing somebody that comes up to your table at the Sunapee Art Fair. The interviews are great, and a great use of video in marketing. Bruce is asking the time limit on a demo video. Again, let's start with short until you've built up an audience, and then you can go longer. So I wouldn't do longer than 1 minute demonstrating something. Start paying attention to the videos you see on Facebook from others, and see, watch a few of them and see at what point do you start losing interest. That's a good clue, okay? So more great uses of video, interviewing people. Here's a little thing about videos. So hang with me here. So most of us, this is, as I mentioned before, a video shot on a smartphone like this is absolutely perfect quality for uploading to the Facebook and using on your Facebook site. Another way you can do that is shoot the video and upload it to a YouTube channel that you own, and then grab the link from YouTube and drop it into your Facebook comment, your status update bar. You can do that, but don't do that last part. Bringing a YouTube link over to your Facebook status update box is a way to get it not seen, because Facebook and YouTube are in a competition. YouTube is owned by Google, Facebook is owned by Zuckerberg. They hate each other, literally and figuratively, and the Facebook's algorithm is tricked out not to show YouTube videos that are linked from YouTube as high up in the newsfeed as others. It's not that they don't show it at all. It's just that the algorithm presents it in a non-timely manner, and therefore it can be missed. So what pardon me, what that is called is native, meaning uploaded directly to Facebook, not brought over from YouTube. Okay, any questions on that while I take a sip of water? I've been talking too much, and it's spring. Type them in the chat box if you can, any questions. Okay, so that was my little tour through videos. Again, we're going to circle back to that giant photograph at the top. It's called a cover photo, and what you should do with it, change it up. Change it every now and then. Use it to tell the story of your business. So here's literally an award-winning photograph. Cynthia asked, linking from my business website is okay, meaning dropping a link to your business site within Facebook. Is that okay? Is that what you mean, Cynthia? If so, yes, that is okay. From business to Facebook. Yep. Yeah, Facebook will not punish those kind of links. It's strictly linking to YouTube that it doesn't like. So this photograph in front of you is a cover photo, and it's an award-winning cover photo because it told the story of the business in an instant. Type in the chat box if you want to guess what that business is from just the cover photo. Have we got a good guess? pet adoption. Sarah won the prize on that one. Animal shelter, cat shelter. It's pet adoption. It was the National Humane Society, but all those others are perfectly understandable. So isn't that a great photograph? It tells in an instant what this business page on Facebook is all about. It's just awesome. So you should think about doing something that awesome. Okay. Remember earlier when I asked you, do you have to preload photos to Facebook Library to use it as cover page? No, Kate is asking if you have to preload it to your storehouse of photos within Facebook. No, you can pull them up from your hard drive, from your own hard drive, or from your phone. It works both ways. So I asked you early on about whether or not you used your call to action button, and the answer from most of you was no. And what are you talking about? So let's just look at that. A call to action button. So in front of you now are 3 different examples of cover photos. The top one came from my business page sometime in the past. Middle one here is advertising a fundraising event, and the bottom one is talking about a giant marketing conference. So look at the blue buttons underneath it. It's sign up, send message, or learn more. See, the blue button is different on each one. The blue button, if you've done nothing to it since inventing your business page, it probably says message us. So you might want to go check and see what yours says. Message us is a perfectly fine thing for that blue button to say, but you should know that it is programmable. That button can say 8 other things or more. I think it's more now. It could be 8 other different messages in that blue button. So the top one here says sign up. And if a person were to click on that, that was my page, it would have led them to the Eventbrite page to register for this event that I was talking about. So you can have that button lead people totally off Facebook and over onto your own website or a registration page like I had you all do. The next one says send message. Again, that's the default. And if a person clicked on that, it would be sending you, the business owner, a message from within Facebook, not an email message, but a Facebook message. And the bottom one says learn more, and most likely clicking on that blue button in the bottom example led somebody off of Facebook to a website about this conference. Okay, so that button is programmable. And the next slide, I'm going to show you how to do it. Yep, Bruce says, where's it set up from? We'll look at that in the next slide. Yeah, let's go back. So sign up, send message, learn more are just 3 of the something like 9 possibilities the button can say. So here's how you would do that, how you would set that up. So your first step is to hover over the blue button. Your blue button probably says message us. You hover over the blue button, you will see, as the owner, you will see this little pencil figure. That means you're about to edit something. That's what the pencil means. And hovering over that drops down this drop-down menu where your options are test the button, get subscribers, view insights, edit button. And if you're wanting to change the blue button, its edit button is what you're after. If you choose test button, that would be to see, well, if I said sign up, does the button actually send people where they are supposed to go on the internet to sign up for this event? Delete is another option. Okay, so that's part 2. You bring up that drop-down menu, tell it you're going to edit, and edit over here, number 3, the third step, you pick from these main headings: book service, get in touch, learn more, make a purchase or donation, and download app. So that bottom one, download app or game, does not apply to anybody here, so let's just throw that out. The top one, book services. If I were to click on that live, that would bring up some subsets underneath it from which to choose. And this is meant to be a place where people can sign up to make an appointment with your business. So if you were a hair cutter or a massage therapist or changing oil at the oil shop, you might go with book services and have it. It really does format a calendar, and we'll show that when we go live. Get in touch is a main heading, and under that is different ways to get in touch with you, the business owner. You can program that to be showing your phone number or your regular email address, or lead people to a contact form, a form where they actually have to fill out to get in touch with you. Learn more, there are a couple of other options underneath that, but that's generally used to lead people to a website. Make a purchase or donation would be leading people to someplace where you have an e-commerce site that you're selling something, or make a donation if you are a nonprofit or have tricked out your page to support a nonprofit. So those are all the main options. You can have that call to action button. That's what it's called. You can program it that way. So if we have time, we'll look at that live when we go live. So questions about that call to action button before we go too far? Can you create your own, make appointment? Yep, you can, making appointments there would come up and you would be able to program a calendar to say, I'm available every Thursday from 11 to 12 and every Friday from 12 to 1, any combination thereof that you want. It's pretty awesome. It's the way I make appointments to get my hair cut at my hair setters these days. We'll see if we're ever allowed to do that again. Okay. Everybody clear on the call to action button at this point? Okay. So can you find your insights? Is that Sarah's answering, yes, I can? Okay. Tell me if you don't know what I'm talking about. Insights. Type that in the chat box. So I want to talk to you about, yep, Bruce, Kate says, huh? And Bruce says, no. So I want to show you what your insights are and then how to use them. So the insights are the data behind your page. It is similar to what web geeks call analytics on a web page. So any web page out there, you can get under the hood and see how many people came to the page, how many left, where did they come from, how long did they stay, which of the many pages did they visit within the website. So analytics on Facebook are called insights, and they can be very, very detailed, and you can learn a lot from them. So I've got to switch my computer screen now. We're going to go live to my Facebook page. So I'm going to go away for a sec and then come back. I hope. I hope I'm coming back. Ah. Stand by. Let me know if your screen changed. If you can see, can you see a bunch of line charts in front of you? Type it in the chat box. Just your face, just me. Yeah, I see analytics. Okay, now you're seeing graphs. Okay, everybody should be seeing graphs at this point, and my face. So this is the insights behind my business page called Halverson New Media. And I got there from, what you're seeing here is as if you owned this page, because we're looking at my administrative part of Facebook, my business page. So up in the right under the blue bar, there are some menu items, and insights is one of them. So I clicked on insights, and the line charts that are showing at the top are a snapshot of what has happened on this page over the last week, literally the last 7 days. So you can see it goes from yesterday back to April 15th. So it's just a snapshot. It's meant to give you a comparison to anything else you've ever done with this page. So it's showing me that page views, I had 36 this week, and it's down 10%. I have page previews. Most people don't do page previews, but that's up 100%. I got down by 1 like this last week, so I'm not to despair about that, because the previous week was big, so therefore losing 1 is not a big deal. My post reach were 198 people, down from the previous week. Post engagement, meaning likes, comments, or share, are down. So that's a snapshot of what happened. And one of the things included in there is my response time is 2 hours and 51 minutes. What that means is if you have messaged me through my Facebook business page, it would take me 2 hours and 51 minutes to get back to you. Or that's, in other words, Facebook is tracking those things. It knows what you're doing. And if you get people asking you questions on your page and you leave those questions sitting in messages for a few days without responding, Facebook will take note of that and will actually prompt you to answer those questions, because that's what it's all about. So this top section here with the line charts can be helpful, but it's not the main thing under insights. Here's the main thing. The really important part of insights is the thing with the orange bars, okay? The most important part in front of you here is this long orange bar right here. So this is showing me a snapshot, a truncated version of the most recent 5 posts I made. And here you can see that I posted more than once a day, so I violated my own rule and had them too close together. That was a matter of accident on my part. But from all of these posts that I made over the last 5 days, the orange bar, the long orange bar, is telling me in a wink of an eye, that's the one that did the best. Its reach was better than all the rest. And that's really the only thing you have to pay attention to. Reach was better for this one, way better than all the rest. What is that about? Furthermore, engagement was better than the rest by virtue of the blue bar and the purple bar. So I'm assuming that you might not know the difference between reach and engagement. So reach, engagement means, let's start there, somebody liked it, commented, shared, or clicked on it. 4 different interactions are possible with a post, with this post, and this post was the most popular one. It had 2 and 1. 2 post clicks, somebody clicked on the link that was included in the post, and it had 1 comment or a thumbs up. So this is what you want to have happen, engagement. And when that happens, Facebook measures, well, how many friends does that person who gave you a thumb up have on Facebook? And so the combination of those 2 equals reach. In other words, when I do something on a Facebook page, other people see it, generally speaking, see that I have done so, and they become part of the audience. That's reach. So in theory, they can see that I interacted with the business page. They can see the name of the business page and click through and go, I'm going to check out that place that designs gold and see what they're about. So when I say you should learn from your insights, here's what I mean by that. The orange bar is long. What does that mean? What did I do that day that was of interest to people? I'm going to click on the full post. So I clicked just on the text and opened up the full post to remind myself what it was, and so I can see the detail of what happens. I got 1 like and 2 shares. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's pretty good for my page. So I am to look at that and go, well, what was I talking about? I have the button on the post, what says book now. I was talking about your ability to hire me to do a series of webinars like I've done with the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen for your organization. So 2 people clicked on that post and their associates numbered 150. Cynthia's asking. Yeah, that's almost exactly right. Those 2 people were seen by 150 of their persons, of their friends. So I am to look at that and go, well, people were interested in that. Why? And so I might have to make some educated guesses as to why. Educated guesses would be because the graphic was interesting. I'm offering them a deal. I included my phone number. Call me if you want to talk about this. And it was posted on a day that was probably appropriate, and therefore it got a lot of action compared to anything else. So your job now then, that you know that Insights is there, is to look at these, give yourself the assignment of looking at them 1 a week to see how the best one and how it compares to the other. Pick out the best one, open it up and analyze what you think caused people to interact with that one more so than others. I hope that makes sense. So my best overall post ever was one that I had a picture of a woman that I had hired to dress up as a chicken. Okay, so the chicken caught people's eye. And I had mentioned in the post 2 other businesses, and those other businesses were the Chamber of Commerce and one other. In other words, I mentioned them so that their audience saw that they were mentioned, and I had a funny picture, and I mentioned another business, and this orange bar was through the roof. Because of the chicken, because of the mentioning the other businesses, I got noticed by their audiences, and it was the best thing I ever did. Now, I can't replicate that because I'm not hiring people to dress as chickens. My message was, don't run around like a chicken with your head cut off with social media. Let me help you. How's that? So every post you've ever made on your business page is always right here. And right here, it's showing the 5 most recent, but if you were to click on see all posts, it goes back to the beginning of time. You can go back and back and back and back. So I just brought us to a very interesting part of the inner workings of the insights. This line chart is showing me at what time of day are my likers online. So I have 500 and some people who follow this page. This is showing at what time of day were they on. So at 6 a.m., there were 239 of them. There's a little blip right about the dinner hour, and then it drops down. So remember when I said once a day, every day, no more, no less, and then the afternoon is good? So let's just talk about the afternoon is good. If you were to drop a post between 1 and 3 p.m., it would capture, in theory, those people who are online then and all the rest that were to come into the evening. Which is to say, if I posted it at 6 in the morning, I would probably get a lot of people. Yes, but a post has a shelf life of about 3 to 4 hours, depending upon how much traffic on your site, how many friends they have. It's all about the noise. But in the old days of Facebook, this was absolutely, there was a dip during the day and then it shot up in the evening hours. There was a little bit of dip before the start of the workday when people went online. So your job is to look at what your audience is doing. It could be acting very differently than the norm. The chart that you're seeing in front of you is pretty close to the norm. I think that will show you the average, even though it's mine specifically. But your people could be acting differently for whatever reason. If your body of likers happen to be a bunch of healthcare workers or other workers who aren't working at a computer all day, they're working with real people, your graph is going to look very different. It's going to have peaks in the morning and the evening and probably a trough during the day. So go in there and look at your graph and see if you have any interesting peaks and valleys in your graph. So that is kind of the major things I wanted to cover today. And we are at 6:30. So I want to make sure that I have I cover all of your questions and covered the highlights. So I am at this point going to open your mics if you all behave and not bang on keyboards and have dogs. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you all. Okay, you are now all unmuted. And you can choose to see who's talking or not on your end. I can see some of you, and we'll be able to see all of you if you're talking. So we covered insights and cover photos and the importance of visuals. And what did I not cover that I say I was going to cover? And what questions do you have? And you could shout them out at this point. You don't shout, but tell me who you are and then ask the question.
Bruce.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm just setting up for the first time, and I finally got my main page, and now I've gone into my commercial page, but I'm confused about how you actually toggle between the two and how I want to really isolate my my commercial page as the main page I'll be using. I'm basically telling all my other viewers, in my personal page, that I'm going to be spending my time on the commercial side, not on their side.
Good.
And so how do I do that toggling?
So toggling between the two, very good. Let's have a review. We can do that right where we are, but everybody can, you're all still seeing the line chart, right, with the whale shape thing? All right, let's go back and let's hope my family and friends are behaving, but I'm gonna go to my personal page, personal me here on Facebook as evidenced by the lighthouse. Okay, and then let's say I've come here and I've decided it's time for me to schedule some posts for my business page. Are you with me so far, Bruce? Can you see my
Right.
arrow?
I am, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna draw, I think I'm going to draw. Right here is a downward arrow in the upper right in the blue bar. And if I were to click on that downward arrow, I'm trying to get rid of the, thank you. Get rid of the drawing now. Clicking on the downward arrow should bring me to,
Drop down menu.
okay, I'm now stuck, you guys.
Okay. Teacher's dilemma.
My cursor has frozen in the, there we go. I think I got it now. Yep. Okay. Are you still seeing the lighthouse over
Yep.
here? Okay.
Yep.
So downward arrow up here, clicking on that brings up in the drop-down menu, the top item that comes up, it says your pages. You are to interpret that as your business pages, and I run 4 or 5 different business pages. So in my list of pages is Halverson New Media, my business page. I click on that, and now we've got up at the cover photo, the webinar, so I know I'm on the business page, not the personal one with the lighthouse. If I want to go back to the personal one, it's either my name up here where my face is showing or the toggle switch again. But the easiest way is just to do my name. There we are.
So when it comes up, does it come up as the other one does with your your header of the page, or not? That's the other one. Yours didn't. It sort of came up, looked like it came up in the middle of the page. Is that correct?
The big cover photo?
The cover photo, yeah.
Oh, no, it does look funny because we're looking at it as the administrator, but to the viewing public, that would be at the very top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's just toggle just to make sure I'm not mistaken. Yeah, as the administrator, it's offering you all this other stuff to read through, but the public isn't seeing that. This is
I
the
see.
top.
Okay.
That's a good question. Good call. Good call.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
What other questions you have? Just tell me your name and then say the question.
Anne, I have a question.
Yeah.
You're saying posting once a day, every day. Is that for business or personal? Or, I mean, like if I really didn't think I wanted to do that once a day, every day, is Facebook not going to be effective for me, my business?
Right. Yeah, and I was totally just talking about the business page. You can post as many times as your friends will tolerate onto the friends page. But business-wise, it should be once a day. And if you should strive to reach that kind of a consistency, because consistency is what Facebook rewards. What they don't want you to do is ignore the page.
What if you're consistent differently? Like my customers really don't want to hear from me all the time, but they love to hear from me. You know, they don't want a lot of, and right now I'm doing email and that's effective for me.
Yep.
I'm looking for new customers, and I'm just wondering, you know, if you're consistent, say every 2 weeks, or when you have a show, is Facebook going to recognize that, or are they going to not be happy about that?
They will treat you better if you do it once a day. If you have solid evidence that your readers, the actual ones who have liked your page, do not like that rate, then feel free to adjust. But I think that would be a rare thing, because those who have chosen to like your page, for lack of a better way to say it,
Well,
they already love you.
I've never done Facebook before, but I have an e-commerce website.
Yep.
So I have followers on that.
Yeah, got it. So, and people react to emails differently. I do not want you to come in my inbox every day. No, no, no. But a post on Facebook is totally ignorable. You're just going to flit by while I'm looking at my kids and grandkids. But if you flit by once a day and your content is great, every third day I'm going to stop and really read what Ann has to say because she's posted something awesome.
It sounds like from something I've read that even if you spend just a few minutes a day, as you were suggesting last week, to just put some teasers in. If you're leading up to something like a show, then perhaps that's all you need, just to give people the idea that it's coming, and then you maybe show a little picture or something, and that's it. And then, you know, you do that every day until it arrives, and then you can do a big splash on it.
Okay, so it's not, like you said, it's not the same as getting an email in your box every day that you don't want.
And for lack of a better way to say it, you're easily ignored, but I'm not going to ignore you because you do such awesome stuff. And Bruce was absolutely right. You want to put teasers out there, show people give them a glimpse into your life as a business owner.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost Kate. She's back. Other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Right now I'm experimenting with different materials. Should I talk about that?
Oh, that's awesome. People love that stuff. Who's speaking?
Peggy.
Yep, Peggy, thank you. Experimenting with materials, people who love artisans and craftsmen like you all are going to love a discussion of, well, how do you pick one material over the other and why, and how hard is this one to work with over the other? That falls under that category of enlightening somebody and or just demonstrating something, how this particular material works. Your viewers are going to love that.
And even if it bombs, you can talk about it and say it's bombing.
Maybe especially if it's bombing. I seriously want you all to go to my business page, Halverson New Media, and it's my writing page, author Chris Halverson. I posted a blooper there yesterday. I was trying to record a video. The blooper ended up being pretty funny. And of course, do I want people to know that me, the video person, screwed up? Not really, but it was funny. So I'm just putting it out there going, we all screw up.
You're human.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're experimenting with materials and I'm making this up, the gold flops and the silver works, people are going to be very interested in that. I promise you, especially if you can do it on video.
They're not going to think I don't know what I'm doing.
No, they're going to think you've got a creative mind and you're not afraid.
Okay.
Put your credit up on the wall behind you.
The what's behind me?
The credit, your diploma.
Yeah. Yes. That'd be a good backdrop. Absolutely. Where else did I lose you folks, or questions that you had?
I was just made a comment to tell Bruce that on his business page, just underneath the banner photo, forgotten the name of it again, where there's the liked and the following and the shared, there's a box with an ellipsis, and if you click that, you'll get a choice that you can view your page as though you were a public visitor.
That's excellent.
I like that.
Thank you, Cynthia. I totally forgot that was an option. So are you all seeing on my screen where that is? Yes. 3 dots below the cover photo. You all know that 3 dots anywhere on the web now means there's something else here. So clicking on that, there's a drop-down menu, view as page visitor.
Is it possible to get people to go to a new Facebook, like if I send an email to them and said, hey, I started a Facebook?
Yes. Yeah, okay. I think that would be a brilliant move, particularly if you already have an email audience.
Okay, so I don't have to do it like through Facebook necessarily. They'll then go to Facebook or or whatever it is.
Yeah, you'll hope that they go there.
Hope that, right.
Using both. And so, and just want to point this out to everybody. See the top of this page in the gray bar? It says facebook.com, my business name. Yours will be your business name, but that is a website address. Okay, it acts exactly like a website address. You can copy that, copy it and drop it into an email and add your text above it saying, here's a link to my Facebook page. You're my friend. You're a loyal customer. Click through and follow my business page. I would love it. And boom, you've done a,
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. I have a question too, but it's something when I was filling out Facebook, so I don't know if I can contact you at another time and help with that.
Well,
'Cause I knew you said the website address can only be changed once.
yes.
And I think that it might have said the Facebook and then mine, and I might have erased the Facebook and just put in mine, but I'm not sure.
Oh, if that's the case. So in other words, yours might not look like mine does at the top.
Well, it doesn't say the Facebook. I erased that because when it said to put in your website, I thought it just meant mine, and the Facebook was, and I think it had actually filled it all in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I messed something up there. But.
Yeah. You can send me an email, but I'm reasonably certain that if you forgot if you erased facebook.com, Facebook knows you did, and they're going to put it right back in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they own the site. You do.
I didn't see it when I went back in to look at it, but maybe I'm confused with another website address, another place to put it or something.
Drop me an email if you can. I'm going to just once again put my email in the chat box so you can all copy it or whatever.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes. Who's speaking?
Karen.
Karen. Thank you.
So does a Facebook business page ever cost money?
No. The part that costs
advertise.
money is to do advertising on Facebook, which is another webinar coming up. And at a certain point, or for certain reasons, there's a good reason to give Facebook a little bit of money to spread your message further. So I'm a big fan of Facebook advertising because it works. It's highly targeted, and that's what we talk about in that webinar. But it literally can be, I'm just going to assume most of you have events, or you're all going to the Lake Sunapee thing. To be able to promote your existence at that fair to a wider audience is worth a few dollars, and that's all that it would cost to advertise to a wider audience. So that's the only time it costs Facebook. I mean, they might, Facebook changes all the time. Tomorrow they might decide, oh, if you want to keep this business page, we're charging you money, but let's hope not.
So, but you can post your website on Facebook. A link to that won't, for some reason, I was under the impression if you start posting your website on Facebook, it gets noticed as a business and then they want to charge you. But that might be something I made up in my head.
Yeah, nope. That is not the case. They might, they might treat it differently than
I
just
think
to post with
somebody's
a
got a
video.
TV or something going on in the background. We're getting a lot of
Yeah, there
Oh,
is.
sorry.
from something else.
I'll mute it again while you're talking.
Thank you. Yeah, there, it went away. Thank you.
And I do have a question,
Yeah.
Christine. This one's driving me crazy. Could you clarify the privacy settings that we should be concerned about in terms of filtering out what I don't know what we should be trying to isolate, in terms of who.
Well, let's take a stab at it. My overarching theme is, in your private, personal Facebook page, you should systematically go through your settings and make sure they're set the way you want them to. On your business page, you should go through and make it as wide open as possible. Because your job as businesses is to be available to everybody at all time, even if bad things happen. But let's look at where that is. Under settings, can you all see my,
Right.
Yep, clicking on that. We hope. The internet has been slow in my building. So here's the settings, and look how many things there are. Over on the left-hand side is the menu. But in the main part of the settings are privacy and moderation things for you to set.
Yeah, it's
Yep, the one that
mostly the privacy settings that I was concerned about.
Yeah. So privacy, you can, on your personal page, you can go in there and say, nobody can tag a photo of you without permission. Nobody can post to your wall, post on your page. And here it's the same thing. You can say anyone can publish to the page. That means they could come and post on your page something. And businesses get nervous about that, but I always say leave it open because nobody will do it.
So if you click on the edit,
Yep.
then something comes up like a box, right?
Yep. See what
Is
I
it
did?
check? What is do you want to check it or uncheck it to have things happen? That's
Yeah.
what
So let's take it from the top here. This top thing, page visibility, it's already published. Visitor post. This is where anyone can publish to your page or anyone can add photos.
Mhm.
To edit would be to change these two features. So clicking on the word edit
Right.
brings this menu up and you click the ones you want. Allow visitors to publish. Yes. Allow photos and video posts. Yes.
Okay.
So that's
what
the
I
way
wanted to
mine are
check
set.
out. Yeah. I didn't know if it was sort of like a in force if you didn't do anything. Not,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It was-
Generally, it's just that nobody ever does it. They won't take the time. Now, if you were, Comcast, the most hated company in the world, people
Mhm.
would do bad things with your page. Or if you were an airline, Cynthia, you have a
Well,
question.
Yeah, I have customers that buy my tools. I make sewing tools and they use them. And sometimes they'll contact me and say, this was such a great seam ripper. It helped me out a lot. And I say, post that, go
Yes.
ahead and say that out loud on my Facebook page. And they don't seem to be able to figure out how to.
Oh, see that?
I'd love for them to do that.
Yeah. So go check your settings for your page. That's an excellent
I
example of
thought
why
they
you
were
want it.
I thought they were open, but I'll double check them for
Yeah.
sure.
And then
That's all it
sometimes,
takes, just
yeah.
clicking that button.
and
Okay.
sometimes people just need reminders on how to do it.
Yeah.
One thing you might want to set, let's all look down here together, profanity filter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You are not politicians, you're not a newspaper where people are going to come and do this, but you can set this to be set to strong. And I don't know how this works, but Facebook will be able to check it for certain words, and you can have it be strong, medium, or light. In other words, let people swear on your page or not. So you want to just make sure that that's set where you want it.
Got it. Okay.
Everybody good on that concept? We got,
Yeah.
what other questions? I could review how to schedule things while we're here. Scheduling posts.
Sure.
Should we do that?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Over.
So my page is loading slowly. That just has to do with the internet. So here I am as Halverson New Media saying, it's time for me to make a post. It's time for me to write something and go find a photo or video to attach to that. But I know that I've filled up my page into next week's and I want to talk about something for next Friday instead. So on my page, to schedule something, here's the box where I would do it if I wanted it to go now. But down here, I know that scheduling is under publishing tools these days, publishing tools. So that's a recent change. It used to be just right here, and I am often forgetting that I have to get into publishing tools to do this. Poor Kate keeps getting bumped off and comes back on. So I opened publishing tools. It's now going to show me a snapshot of what is already scheduled. And again, with my posts, I diminished the wrong thing. Now I have too many windows open. So you can see that I have a post about Instagram and da-da-da-da. So here I'm going to, in publishing tools, I'm hitting create post. And I'm about to schedule this post. I just know that. So I'm going to say, don't forget, I want to talk about next Friday's event. I'm looking at my calendar here. Next Friday's event is graphics, right? Are we at the end of April? Thank you, Lord. May 1st is graphics coming up. Don't forget the graphics webinar coming May, not April, May 1, hooray, at 11:30. You can sign up here. I'm not going to actually put this in, and I'm going to attach a photograph to illustrate this. I'm going to upload a photograph from my hard drive. I'm going to pick the first photograph I come across just for the sake of time. Here's one with vegetables. I don't know why.
Good graphic.
Thank you. It's going to catch people's eye. So I just went and found that on my hard drive, and knowing that this event is May 1st, I don't want to post it today because I've already posted today and I filled up a couple other pages, dates coming up. So I want to post this on April 28th, because that's a couple of days notice and nothing else. So instead of, if I were right here to push the button that says share now, it would go live immediately. Same if I push this share now, go live immediately. But
yeah, we'll drop the menu down.
Yeah, instead, the right-hand arrow next to the word share now, see where it says schedule? That's what I want to do. Look at the other option. There's one says save draft. You could draft this, and if you wanted somebody else to look at it before it went live, you could call it back up.
Where do
Or
you find them after you've drafted them?
they appear just like in this menu that's behind this box at the moment. It'll appear in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people, the bigger
So where did
companies-
that drop-down menu come from? To share
So-
now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Get it?
under
Yep.
news feed.
Share now, and the right-hand button.
Newsfeed. Yeah, okay.
Then schedule. So I want schedule. So when I do that, it brings up this little miniature calendar that I can click on and actually pick April 28th. And now I want to tell it what time. What time should I make this post go live? People, this is a test.
1 to 3.
Very good. Let's try. Who said that?
1 o'clock.
3 o'clock?
Who said 1?
Well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, 1 to 3, somewhere in that range is the correct answer. And so that's what I set it for 1:06. And so now I've programmed it. I've told it a date. I've given it the text and a graphic. It's good to go. If I hit schedule, it's now going to register in Facebook's brain. You actually have to see this button changed from share now to later. And that's what you want, later, and then you hit schedule post. That blue button changed to schedule post. So that's what I did, and it's registered in Facebook, and it will be there for me to check up on later, reminding myself that I did it, or I can find it again and go edit it. Let's say it's an event that the time has changed, I could go edit, or if I discovered
From 5 to 5:30.
Yeah, for example, not that I would ever do that.
Now, in any case, in any post that you make, you can delete it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Either going forward or going backwards, you can delete anything.
Mhm.
So that was a little quick tutorial on scheduling, and know that, I think I said this before, set aside time in your week for an hour to schedule out 5 or 6 posts so that you're done and you don't have to think about it again. That's just efficient use of your time.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. What else? Poor Kate. Kate has been coming and going.
I'm back.
Yeah, is that an internet problem?
No, I think my little Wi-Fi thing decides to take a vacation. It's just about sundown time here in Florida, and it gets lazy. Yeah, it's ready. Once it's margarita.
Well, yeah, I
I had
understand.
a question, Christine. When I was first setting up the page, it mentioned about hours of operation and this and that, and I basically only would be working by appointment. That wasn't an option. Is there any way to trick that?
So you tried to program the contact
If
or
it's
the
a
call
day
to
of the week,
action?
like closed Sunday, open Monday, Tuesday, whatever, but by appointment was not an option.
Oh, Kate, if you could drop me an email to remind
I
me,
will.
what I'll do is do a little screenshot walking you through that.
Cool.
Every time I go there, they change something, so I want to remind myself what's up. But in theory, you should be able to say, whatever dates and times you want.
Right, or
We'll
whatever.
figure that out.
And I might have missed this, but you talked about buttons.
Buttons?
Buttons.
No, what do you mean by that?
It just says, there's one place on here that says buttons.
Well, yeah, that was kind of threw me too, because they don't look like buttons. They just look like little blue bars.
Oh, so there's the call to action button, the one that says message you or whatever. Yep.
Okay.
And when you format a post and make it go live, you're done. If you come to the Facebook advertising webinar, we can learn about boosting a post, and that is paying some money to turn that post into an ad, which is to say delivering it beyond your page. And when you do that, a button gets overlaid on it. A button that says sign up, learn more, same thing as the call to action buttons. So we'll learn about that in advertising if you take that.
All right, so you'd be all right if I reached out with a couple of questions, like I started a Facebook page for business I no longer own, but I'm still on it as an administrator.
Yeah, we'll see if I can walk you through that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
What else? We're right just about at 7 o'clock. Remember, this is being recorded, and you will get a copy of the recording, I hope,
So you
tomorrow
say.
morning.
So
Okay.
you say.
So you said that it gets to be, it takes so long. When I hang up, it'll be an hour before the video is created, and then to upload it back up can be 3 to 4 hours. So that's why
We made 4 new friends from last week. I got to watch their video. The
Oh,
Hat
good.
Lady and Peggy from Paul Groves and stuff like that. It was kind of fun seeing another group. Oh, I lost my audio.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a
thanks.
good workshop.
Thank you very much. That's good. Learned a lot.
Very
I
nice.
think now I'll spend
Thanks.
another couple of weeks figuring it out.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care.
Good night.
By the way, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Hello.